Hello YouTube, I'm Max and welcome back to the channel. So for today's session, we're having a roller coaster ride. There was a lot of up and downs from a little bit short time of a period, like an hour and a half minute, it all happened in there. And also there's been like controversy, so I hope that you enjoy. I'm playing 1-2 game and let's roll. So for my first sin of the night, I have pocket sevens. There's a straddle, there's a limper from the other gun plus one. I'm in the other gun plus two position, so I put a raise at $15, and only the straddler and the other gun plus one calls. The flop comes 7, queen, 4, rainbow. Here, everyone decided to checks. Now this is a bad move on my part because as the previous vlog I said don't slow play your sets, and apparently I've overruled my own rules. I'm playing with multi-ways and I'm slow playing them. What a schmuck. Anyway, so the turn comes out to be a 3 of spade, and now the undergun plus 1 leads for $10. Now with the sets, I try to raise it up at $30. And he calls, the other one folds. And the river comes out to be a 5 of heart. Now there's one card for a straight with a 6. And the underground plus 1 decided to lead for 25. Now I'm a little bit in the tank because since I didn't put a bet on the flop here, he could have a lot of things. And this guy tends to play a lot of loose hands, so he might have queen 6, or a 6 is not unreasonable within his range. So with his blocker bet, and since I played really poorly from the start, I couldn't seem to find a raise here, and I just decided to call, but there's some merits to put a raise here, because it's only a 6 who beats me. And I beat almost everything else, so it's probably he wouldn't even call even with only a queen, because now I'm playing more often with him, and I would have known that. But I think I played poorly from the start, so I just made the call, and he shows ace 5, so that was pretty loose from his part to call my raise with only a 5. So he had a god shot, only a 6 for a river for a straight. And we scoop this spot. For my second hand, I have ace jack offsuit in the other gun plus 1 position. There's a straddle, so I put a raise of 3x the pot, so $15. Only the bottom call and the straddle calls. The flop comes out to be an ace 8 5 rainbow. Now the straddler checks, and since I have an ace, I decide to put a c bet, so to represent an ace. Even though I wouldn't have an ace, this ace hit my range because I'm playing in the early position. So anyway, put a bet of $15, and only the straddler calls. Now the turn is a jack of heart. Now the straddler leads here for $10. Now $10 is really small into the pot, and since it's the same guy that we played previously, so I decided to put a raise, and a raise higher to $50. And because since I have 2 pair here, and he might like trying to lead for having an ace, trying to see the river cheaply. So with 2 pair, I didn't want to slow play with that guy because he tends to like catch and run often. So I decided to put raise, and he decided to make the call. The river is a 5 here. And again, he leads. So that was a weird play because I've shown a lot of aggressivity from the start. And he decided to put a dunk bet again. And so there's two things. Either he's showing a lot of strength or he's bluffing. But since I have 2 pair here, and there's like the miss flush draw, there's no straight, only pocket 8s he can have, or he can have like ace king as well, or a weak ace and want to put go to a showdown value, cheap lead. So anyway, with all that in mind, I have 2 pair. I decided to shove, and he decided to make the call, and the villain shows Jack 8 here. Now this is pretty much a cooler situation for him part, because he did have 2 pair, and I think with his 2 pair, I think it was a decent lead here. But since I have a better 2 pair, it's just be it. So for my third hand, I have Queen Jack offsuit in the bottom position. Now there's one limper. The cutoff position put a raise at $5, which was a weak raise, so I tried to put a higher raise at $20. The limper calls and the cutoff call. The flop is Queen 10 Jack Rainbow. So I hit 2 pairs here. Now the first person checks. The cutoff position put a bet of $25. Now since I have 2 pair, and this is the guy that we play against all night long, the villain of our session, he leads again, even though I've shown strength with raising pre-flop. Anyway, so I decided to put a raise of $75 because I have 2 pair. Didn't want to slow play. I didn't want to, and the board was a wet board, even though there was no possibility of draw, but there was like backdoor draw, flush draw. But since I have 2 pair, but it still could connect. He could have a pair here, like an ace with queen, an ace king, probably ace 10. So I've put him more on the ace and 1 pair here. So that's why I tried to raise the size up, and he decided to make the call. And the turn was an ace of heart. That was not a good card for me because any king could make the straight. And since he called my raise, a king is within his range because he put a bet. Even though it was a poor bet on the flop, he still put a bet. And even though people just pour like at $5, they want to like, oh, I have a good hand, but I don't have the cojones to put a bet, but I'm going to put a bet because I just have a good hand. So anyway, so I think he might have a king within his range. So he put a dunk bet again, like he always liked to do, of $25. Here, I do not have couldn't find a raise here because it was either he would have called me. What worse could call me with that? But there's also a mirror to know if he does have a king here, if I put a raise. If I put a raise, he might call me with 2 pair, or since he have 2 pair, better like, let's say, Jack 10 or Jack Ace, Queen Jack, or Queen Ace 2 pair, he might get off of that. So there's some merits to put a raise here, but since he still dunk bet me, I was like, oh my god, what am I doing here? So anyway, I just put the call here, and the river was a 2 of clubs, which was a break. So it changed nothing at all. So he decided to lead here. So from the start, I've shown a lot of strength. And from the flop, I raised him. And now I've called him on the turn. So he might sense that either I'm weak or he does have a king. Because on the turn, I've shown a lot of either weakness or I might have it, but he might want to get me off of a worse pair or something like that. So he made decide to lead with $75, and then I just like thinked, and I couldn't find the call because I thought I wasn't good here. So I decided to fold, and that's it. So for my next hand, it was a really weird hand because of what happened, and that is not something uncommon in those stakes of what is gonna happen. So I'm in the straddle position. I have 6-3 of diamond. There's 5 limpers, so I decided to just check my option here. And the flop comes 5-7-4 with 2 clubs. Now here I have the straight. The small blind decided to lead from $10. So since I have the straight and straddle position, I decided to raise it up to make some more money and to like try to catch people who trying to either have a pair here or trying to have a flush draw or having a straight draw. So anyway, with all that in mind, I should have raised here, and I did. The bottom position goes all in for 65. And now the leader, the small blind, put a re-raise of all in for $308. Now, I don't know why, but I go in the tank. I go in the tank because I've just watched the poker hand with Phil Hymute and Doug Polk, who did a sick fold when he had a straight versus a straight here. And that's what I've watched just a few hours before. So I've put my brain with weird thoughts of saying myself, does he have like the nuts here with 6-8?
Yeah, I can show, right? Yeah.
This shouldn't be going on.
Wow.
A guy is considering making the best laydown we've ever had on high stakes poker, and these guys are interfering with his thought pattern.
I just.
Yeah, that's why I called. Did you really?
I just don't think.
But we're still playing.
This is brilliant. I mean, Doug Polk is being absolutely brilliant at this point. And Phil Hellmuth is realizing he should have shut his mouth and not said anything, so that's what he's going to do at this point.
This is completely absurd. He has to get through him, and then he has to get through me. And then, no, this is just a fold.
Wow, wow.
Not a fold. Are you
hell?
crazy?
And that's why I tank a little bit. But yeah, after that, I thought and I said I would be a fish here if I would fold, because I'm playing only 1-2 and I'm not playing high stakes. So I'm not a professional like Doug Polk to make a fold here. So I decided to put the bet. And the small blind shows 7-4 and the bottom shows for 8-6. So now I have to dodge either a straight or a full house here. And the turn was a 5 of diamond. Now I'm improving my hand that any diamonds could give me the flush as well. But here is the problem. The river was an 8 of diamond. Normally you would say that I'm having a flush, and that would be correct. You would know how to play the poker. But here, that's the problem here. Because someone said a split, and everyone thought a split. And even I thought it was a split with the ace-6 for the straight. I didn't realize during that hand that I had the flush. It's only when I realized during the editing part. And let's see that. Breaking news. Information just came in that Max Value is a real fish. While playing a hand of poker, he didn't realize that he had the flush and decided to chop the main pot with another one for a straight. Let's see the sequence. So you can hear that they say split pot, and we were 10 people with the dealer. So everyone thought it was a split pot, and so did I. So you can review it. Someone really said split pot, and everyone thought it was a split pot. Anyway, I'm not the only one who does these kind of error. Even like professional do it as well, and see this Phil Ivy error as well on the next video.
Check.
Checks again.
Check. Ace.
Ivy checks.
I guess Ivy was worried about a higher spade flush.
Smith shows his aces up. Ivy mocks his flush.
He just mucked his hand.
So for my last hand, it was the beginning of the end. And what I meant for that is that it was a roller coaster night. So I've won like big pots, and after that I was just like losing a lot. And this hand, it put me like in the hole, and from that, after that, I just like went from downhill because it did affect me and it shouldn't have. Anyway, let's go for the hand. And what I see, in the straddle position, I have king. So that is a dream position because you like just have a straddle with a premium hand. Anyway, there's two limpers. The bottom put a raise of $15. The small blind calls. The big blind calls. And now I'm facing a situation. I have to 3-bet for sure because there's way too much people in that hand and I'm having a premium. So I want to either isolate someone, play like not a multi-ways with kings, and I want to charge high. So I think 65 was a decent amount here. For sure, you got to put 16 plus because there's already around $50 in the pot. So you can go higher, but you don't want to scare too much people. But you also don't want to someone call and then the other one call and then the other one call. Because you go multi-ways with a premium hand pocket, and it feels like it's nothing at all. So anyway, I put a bet of 65. And to my surprise, only the small blind calls here. The flop is Queen, 4, and 7 rainbow. Now, what can the small blind represent? Because he only called the $15 and then called my raise here. He didn't raise before me and he only calls here. So what can he represent? Probably a pocket in his hands. And I put him more on the medium pockets because all the low pockets would either fold here my big bet. If he had ace king, I think he would have raised the pre-flop situation. And since I'm having a king in my hands, there's less likely to have that. Aces would for sure had to raise here because there's already too much people in that pot. Queens could raise as well. Jack should raise as well. All tens and mid pair would either call or fold. And maybe he had ace queen or ace jack. Ace jack, it's a 50-50. So with all that in mind and with the flop, I have to bet since I'm having kings here and I wanted to have more information. So I decided to put a bet of $55 and he makes the call. The turn is an 8. Now, is it possible that he have a straight, not really 5-6 here, would call my 65 pre-flop? I don't think he would play that way. Can he have a set here easily and he want to trap me? It's a possibility. Can he have queen ace? Ace queen, I think he can have ace queen here because he just called. So that's also a possibility. And I think I'm putting him more on ace queen here because I think all the medium pair, he would have fold medium pair in an out of position. So with all that in mind, I've put a higher bet, half pot around that, of $130. And now he goes all in for $298. And I have a decision to make. So what I have in mind is that it's impossible that he had aces because he would have raised on pre-flop. Can he have ace king? I don't think he have ace king because I block a king. So he wouldn't play like that with ace king. Can he have ace queen? Yes, he can have ace queen. But with raising me, it's less possible. Either he thinks I'm having ace king here and he don't want to face a king on the river or something like that. So I think he have either a set. And what I do is I think he have a set. And either way, I make the call because I'm a stupid guy. And he shows queens here. So I'm practically dead because I'm only having a 5% to hit on the river. And the river comes out to be a 4 here. So while reviewing this hand, I think he played good. I think he played bad and good. I think he played bad on the pre-flop because I think he should have raised here with too much people. In the pre-flop already putting some money. But after the flop, I think he played perfectly, and the turn he paid perfectly. He put his trap and he caught me for sure. But I should ask him what was his reason behind all this stuff. Was he playing because he was scared with queens and don't know what to do? Or because he knew that I'm more the aggressive type that I will put a 3-bet and he wanted to trap me? That's a possibility as well. And so I might ask him for that. But yeah, to recap, I think he played poorly pre-flop, but he played perfectly in the flop and he played perfectly in the turn. And I got trapped. So this concludes our session for today. I lost around $205 for around 7 hours. So it's not that much compared to my last 2 sessions. And anyway, I cannot win them all. I'm gonna lose sometimes, and it shouldn't affect me, because if it does, well, I'm just gonna play poorly again and again and again. Anyway, regarding the controversy hand, it's no one's fault except mine. I should have known, even though the dealer said it's a split. I should like intervene if I was more aware and I wasn't focused on that time. So it's no hard feelings for the dealer. Everyone's human and error's gonna be a mistake. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy and see you on the next video. Bye-bye.